Hey everybody, welcome to the Weseloh and Stevo Show. You can check us out on Instagram and YouTube at the Weseloh and Stevo Show. You can also email us at theweslohstevoshow@gmail.com. Thank you for listening and enjoy the podcast.
Is it frowned upon? That's debatable. But if you can't hide your signs, or you can't hide your pitches, and you're tipping, that's your fault.
That's your fault. This is the toughest fan situation that I've ever been in sports before, where a guy that I disliked or hated on so much is now on my team.
But at the same time, who wants a smart kid who doesn't talk to nobody?
True. Episode 1. Man, this has been in the works for a long time.
We made it.
Let's make sure we say thank you to our very important sponsors. Coors Light. When the mountains are blue, she's ready for you. And also by Possessive Insurance. Once you insure, you're never secure.
Ugh, I don't want that. So let's talk about that turkey. How was your turkey?
We had 2 different turkeys.
2 turkeys?
Yeah, 2 turkeys. They were actually both the same. Normally we have a fried turkey and a regular, oven.
It's very dangerous to be frying a turkey.
It is dangerous.
Who's frying that turkey?
One of our neighbors that we have Thanksgiving with.
Wow.
I know. It's scary, but man, have you ever fried turkey before?
I have not.
Got a little crunch on the outside. It's really good.
Now, are you a accoutrement kind of guy? What do you like, the stuffing? What do you like?
I'm not a huge stuffing guy.
You don't like stuffing?
No, I don't know why. It's just kind of, when I eat stuffing, I'm like, okay, that's stuffing. It's just like, it's just there.
Doesn't do it for you?
No.
What about the cranberry sauce? You know that cranberry sauce?
A little. I don't really use it that much, honestly. I don't.
I'm a plain Jane too, man. I'm with
Yeah.
it, so.
You know what's underrated is mac and cheese.
Who has mac and cheese during Thanksgiving?
Someone brought it to ours,
What?
man. We've got a little variety.
I wish someone brought mac and cheese at my Thanksgiving.
And guess what? This one had bacon in the middle, too.
Dude, what kind of Thanksgiving you going to?
We got all kinds.
How many people, if you had to guess, were at your Thanksgiving?
Probably like 20-ish.
That's a lot.
Yeah. All right, so what about, are you an apple or pumpkin pecan pie guy?
Is it pecan or is it pecan?
I like the way pecan sounds.
It's pecan. It's pecan
pie.
This is undebatable. It's not pecan.
Pecan.
It's pecan.
I want it to be pecan.
All right. Sounds good. Next. Brett, you're a huge Laker fan.
Yes, I am.
But you are
I am a Laker.
pre-LeBron James.
Yes.
To being on the Lakers. You did not really care for him.
I did not.
As I can recall.
I've been very harsh over the years.
What
with
do you
him.
not like about LeBron James?
Oof, that's tough. I mean, where do I start?
Anywhere will work.
I didn't like that not that he left Cleveland. I understand they didn't do anything for him there the first time. But once he joined up with D-Wade and Chris Bosh and manipulated the entire Eastern Conference. So, for example, Chris Bosh leaves the Raptors. They were a playoff team, right?
Okay.
Not anymore when he goes to Miami.
Right.
LeBron leaves Cleveland. We're a playoff team. Not anymore. So now that you completely destroyed 2 franchises with one move, and you have 3 superstars, all-star starters on one team in the same conference.
Would you argue that he started the movement?
Yes, and it's very unfortunate, which is why we don't have quote-unquote rivalries anymore.
No,
it's all players.
It's
now.
a pickup league,
and it's all buddy-buddy. It's all players. There's no more team stuff anymore. So he started this whole revolution. Now everybody is buddying up with other superstars.
Sure.
And you almost have to now, because of the Warriors did it organically. They drafted Steph, they drafted Clay, they drafted Draymond in the second round, and they added different pieces. Iguodala, they had Bogut for a little bit. They had Sean Livingston, who was kind of a forgotten man. Barbosa, they've all these guys.
I haven't heard Barbosa in
right?
a while.
Leandro Barbosa, Brazilian. Anyway, when you do it organically, it's a lot better because Steph and Clay were not. I mean, one went to Davidson.
So you're giving the Warriors props right now.
I am, because they didn't join until Kevin Durant came together.
Well, they had to though at that point because they had to compete with everyone else.
Right, but they had already won a championship without him.
That's true. That was kind of a savage deal.
And some people say it was the weakest move by a superstar ever.
Kevin Durant is definitely one of the more hated players in the league.
He is, and he and Russell Westbrook had the Thunder up 3-1 against Golden State in the Western Conference Finals.
I remember that.
And they lost it.
I remember that.
And so a lot of people didn't like the fact that Durant went to Golden State right after the team that beat them. And he got 2 rings, and now he left again. It's crazy. What a great situation. But let's get back to our man, LeBron.
Back to LeBron. LeBrick, as you call him.
Have you seen him at the free throw line? Have you seen him lately? He's been better shooting threes, but to me, sometimes I get he has an ugly looking shot, so it's like when it goes in, it doesn't look right. Like, you know, when Steph shoots, it's like, damn, or Clay.
Yeah.
It's just splash. The Splash Brothers.
Yeah.
When
Well,
LeBron shoots, it's like clank, 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 and then it goes in. You know what I mean? It's never a clean swish. And I'm looking deep into this, but I don't like his antics sometimes, a little bit of flopping over the years. And also the early comparisons to Jordan, that, in my opinion, not justified at all.
Are you talking about now? Or are you talking about early in his career?
Like, within the last 10 years.
What would you say about him now compared to Jordan?
I would say he's definitely one of the greatest players of all time, but he is not in the GOAT conversation, though.
You don't think so?
No, because Jordan went to the finals 6 times, never lost in the finals. LeBron's 3-6 so far in the finals.
So what would LeBron have to do, even though he's old now? What would he have to do before his career?
At least win 3 more championships to even
think
some
about?
people would already say he's already there, but he's not. When you also playing in the Eastern Conference for your whole career is so much easier. Don't get me started with the New England Patriots where they played. Similar situation, right? Easy road to the finals.
Sure.
Easy.
Sure.
He never went through the Western Conference gauntlet until this year.
Right.
Or the year before, but now this year.
It's true. The East Coast the East Division is unbelievable.
It's
soft.
horrible.
There's nobody in there. Well, it's better now.
It's better now. But think about all the players that left and
with
went
Philly
west.
and the Raptors and all that. They're better now. But 5 years ago,
it was a joke.
there was nobody in it.
There was no Giannis. There was no Embiid. There was no Simmons. No Jimmy Butler.
East team there was one East team that would dominate, right? And usually the Bronx team, and they would sweep everybody,
right? And everybody had little flashes of brilliance, like Indiana with Paul George had that little run where they were kind of decent, but they were never a championship team.
And they played so hard in that series that there's no way they could have done that for the rest of the playoffs.
No,
so you're just like, okay, you guys are gonna get, if you do win, you're gonna get through these guys,
right?
And just get eliminated in the next round.
Then you had the Raptors with DeRozan and Lowry, the baby dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They had no chance.
Yeah.
They had a great record at home, but
I honestly, as much as I respect DeRozan's game, I don't think he's not a team player, man. He's just kind of a guy
he shoots a lot of
he
twos.
shoots a lot of twos, and he has the ball a lot. I'm not going to go as far as saying he's a ball hog because he is more of a team player than, like, say, Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah. But he is more of an ISO player.
Yeah, he's an ISO player. He's not the right piece. Like, at least
he
in
can't
today's
be a
NBA.
number one.
In today's NBA, he's not the right piece. Unless, he could be like a number 3 guy. If he was a number 3 guy on a team,
a great number 3.
He could win a title. But
so how do you think he feels now? He gets traded from Toronto. They bring in Kawhi. They win a championship.
Don't ask him how he feels because he's real sad about it. I know he's got some sad issues. For sure.
He does.
So, but okay, so
LeBron weak road to the finals constantly, right?
So these just sound like things. These sound like the smallest irks. I got to be honest with you. So
3-6 in the finals. And it's not like he hasn't had talent, remember. He's played with dudes.
But to hate someone for it?
I'm not hating him. Okay, I don't hate it. Actually, and I'm, full disclosure, huge Kobe guy, right?
Of course.
But I've heard he's not the nicest person in the world.
LeBron?
No, Kobe.
Oh.
But LeBron seems like someone I would love to hang out with more, okay, off the court.
You look like LeBron.
Thank you.
You do.
I'm white, but I guess if you can make that comparison.
Well, no, it's not. It has nothing to do with the skin color. It's like if you look at your face and you look at LeBron's face, same ears, same nose, same.
But LeBron was like already a grandpa when he got in the league, though. Jordan never played. How about this? A game 6 in the or game 7. I'm sorry. He never had to go to game 7 in the finals. His numbers are ridiculous, and his all defensive teams are ridiculous.
That's the other thing too. Is Jordan was a big defender,
and LeBron doesn't have that many all defense. Yeah. It's always about he plays when he wants to.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. I hate all of the non-basketball stuff that people use to make him a greater player.
Like what?
Like, he built a school. Look what kind of guy he is for building a school. It's like, that has nothing to do with him, the basketball player. He's never gotten in trouble off the court. That has nothing to do with him on the court. That's my biggest argument is against people.
If you
and we have friends who bring that up.
If you want to bring that up, for all the Jordan Jordan people could be like, well, he's got a gambling problem, or he cheated on his wife and has like a child with someone else or something like that. Like, he's done a bunch of shit off court where people could be like, hey, well, what about Jordan?
But it has nothing to do with it. I don't like when people bring up non-basketball stuff.
Sure, okay.
Or like Kobe had his scandal, right?
Or
has nothing to do.
Well, that went under the rug real quick, by the way. That only lasted for a few months.
Yeah.
You got that ring for Vanessa, and everyone completely forgot about it.
Right.
Let's not forget about that. Kobe definitely had sex with a woman.
All right, yeah, easy.
In Colorado.
Yeah, but it was consensual. Anyway.
Yeah, about that.
He didn't get charged. Anyway, He didn't get charged.
He didn't get charged. You hear that?
If you want to go deep into what that lady was up to, she had all kinds of stuff going on.
She did have all kinds of stuff inside of her too.
Yeah, she did, exactly. He wasn't the only one. Anyway, yeah, it's all about what he does on the court.
Right.
And the problem for Kobe was in those mid-2000s when he was going off and he won that MVP, he never had, right after Shaq left, he was playing with some of the worst talent ever. He could have gone to other teams and joined up and been great, right? But once LeBron went to Miami, then he went to Cleveland, so he had Kyrie and Kevin Love. He had other dudes that were there. He had Ray Allen in Miami too.
Oh, yeah.
Saved his legacy, in my opinion, when he hit that big three against San Antonio.
Jesus Shuttlesworth?
Jesus Shuttlesworth. He Got Game. Great movie. Go watch it if you haven't yet. And then he goes now with arguably the best player in the league, Anthony Davis. I can't complain because it's a Laker, but man, to get that, he's always stacking talent, which I think obviously he thinks he needs to do.
All right, so let's get to that. Okay, so now he's all that said, which I'm not going to go as far as it did sound like you hated him a little bit, but I'm not going to use the word hate here. He's on your team now. Okay,
I know.
So what happens to your mindset? I mean, there's got to be a part of you that has to forgive him for some of it, right? Or am I wrong?
You are partially correct. This is the toughest fan situation that I've ever been in sports before, where a guy that I disliked or hated on so much is now on my team. I've never had that happen until now. And so it's very interesting that I should, if I'm sticking to my team, I should be rooting for him, which I think I have to. But it's very weird. I will say that.
But okay, is it a lot easier now that the seasons are now he's played a year and a half? Is it a little easier to deal with now as opposed to like at the beginning?
I think so.
Like, fuck this guy.
Yeah,
he's on my team.
I think so. And I will say, I went to a game recently, and I haven't seen him play live ever. Actually, in 2004, I went to the rookie-sophomore game. He was there, Melo, D-Wade, they were all there. But that wasn't a real game.
Right.
This is the first time I've ever seen him play in a real game. I mean, 17 years in, with all that mileage, I was impressed. The dude is a freak. Like, he's a beast. And to keep his body like that and not have any major injuries before, it was impressive to watch him play.
But do you think that has something to do with the way they do load management around here in LA? Because, I mean, think about it. When Michael Jordan was in the league, they weren't doing that shit. No.
And LeBron says he's going to play as many games if he's healthy as he
has been playing.
He has.
He has not been
He's
sitting.
not doing the Kawhi stuff. He's playing.
Yeah, that's another topic, but yeah.
He's playing. So
same with AD. AD's been chuffing it out,
AD's been playing, and AD gets hurt a lot, or at least he did in the past. Every time he falls, I'm like, no, please. Don't get up, please get up. And dude, watching him play, man, he really doesn't have any flaws in his game, AD.
No. He can shoot threes.
Yes.
He can post up.
Right.
He can play defense,
SWAT.
He
does it all. Yeah, leading the league in blocks at this point.
Wow.
He's impressive. So he should be an all-defensive player for sure.
But
LeBron has aligned himself now with a veteran team, right? That's what he needs. He needs shooters. He needs veterans. He needs
role players.
He needs high IQ basketball players.
Role players.
Rondo, Danny Green, those guys.
Sure.
So now that he has a team, they're off to the best start, one of the best starts in franchise history. So I will say it's good to have. I mean, it's crazy to think that Laker fans for 6 years haven't made the playoffs. That's a long drought. There's other organizations haven't made the playoffs in 20 years.
I just want to go on record here to state that I hate the Lakers. I hate them. So the 6-year drought has been just an absolute dream.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to go out and say, I'm pissed that they're doing good. At this point in my life, I like watching good basketball, just like any sport.
Right. You want to see good competition. Yeah. Speaking of that, there's two crazy things that happened. LeBron came to the Lakers, never thought it would happen. Dwight Howard came back to the Lakers. I am in shock at how well he's playing. I literally can't believe it. Dudes might be 6th man of the year.
Well, because he's embracing what he's supposed to do.
He's embracing his role.
That's his problem. And It's not the only one. Check it out. Melo. If you've been watching him the last couple games with the Trailblazers.
Well lately.
He's still taking a lot of shots. He's still doing his ball hogging thing, which is
Melo.
who he is. Yeah. Now, he's got a great supporting cast, which, if you can think back, he's never really had in most of his career.
No.
Not really.
Denver, they were good. They had a shot with Chauncey Billups back in the day, but that was like his first team.
Yeah, I think Steven Jackson was on that team. And
Squad, Kenyon Martin, guys like that.
Kmart? Okay, yeah. Well, no, the Kmart's not going to win you a championship, but... when you got guys like Lillard and McCollum and Whiteside, and like he's actually got a good supporting cast. But back to my point is he's embracing what he's supposed to be doing now. And yes, he has been shooting a lot, but he's finally, and it's taken him his whole career to figure out, hey, this is where I belong now. And I think Dwight Howard is in that same position where basically like, hey, Now, I'm not worth this. This is what I'm worth. I'm worth off the bench, where I can contribute. I can't go a whole game probably anymore with my back issues and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's firing him up. And then obviously being on a good team, I'm sure playing with LeBron and AD just fires people up.
Right. When you play for the Wizards, the mental drain there is you're not going anywhere.
In any sport, your confidence level being high or low is a huge, huge factor as far as going out and performing, especially in a environment where you're in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
So even if you're 7 feet tall and all you have to do is lift your hand up and put it in the net, people don't realize that, with all the world watching, it's hard to do.
Winning cures everything.
Well, no shit.
I'm saying you go to a winning organization who has a plan and you buy into it. And let me give some props to Frank Vogel too. That guy's coaching his butt off right now.
Well, he's the perfect coach. He's
getting
one of the few
veterans to play defense.
One of the few people that LeBron will actually listen to and not try to coach over or out coach. You put Luke Walton or any of these other guys, he's not going to listen to them.
No.
He's almost older than he is.
Right.
So he's just like, dude, who are you? Hey, come on, you're Luke Walton? Tell them Bill Walton sent you. You know what I mean? So, it's good that they got Frank Vogel, and I guarantee that's why they got him. Not only is he a good coach, but they got him because it's someone that LeBron will listen to.
Right.
Which I think is key. Because LeBron's going to coach. You know it. He's going to coach on the court. Like, he's going to do his coaching.
Right. But they got two other former head coaches. Jason Kidd, who's a big LeBron person, and they got Lionel Hollins, former Memphis coach. Great, all defensive minds for the most part. So I think it's huge.
They have no problem scoring the ball.
No, they don't.
No problem.
But they're holding teams to. This is what the Lakers have been missing for years. When we had all the kids, they couldn't play D. Young teams don't win in the NBA. You have to have veterans that can play D. And
it's
know the
good
roles.
Seeing Brandon Ingram though over in New Orleans. He's doing pretty well. Unfortunately, Alonzo Ball's been in and out. I know he's got his injuries or whatever. But Josh Hart too.
Yeah.
But I've been watching Ingram lately, and
he's been playing well.
Ingram's still got his injury issues too, but he's been doing really, really well. I don't know if that fired him up down there, but they're a lot faster paced. They play a lot, have a lot of possessions, and they like to score. So it's good to see those guys actually doing good because I'm sure they were kind of.
When your name's in trade rumors all the time, it's hard to play.
And for AD, the whole swing, it just
totally worth it though now.
Oh yeah,
totally worth it.
Yeah,
I give them all up. The only one we kept was Kuzma. Totally fine with that.
You could have given him up too.
We could have. It would have been fine.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah, he just shoots. He's a black hole.
he does nothing. And what's up with their hair? What's up with Kuzma?
Oh, you don't like the frosted tips?
Well, him and Howard, I don't know what's going on with their hair, man. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I guess I'll never get it. But at least they have hair. LeBron can't say that.
Yes, that is true. It's going away soon.
It's a scandal. It's a scandal for sure. Speaking of scandals, the Houston Astros.
Ooh.
Sign stealing.
Yes. If you're unaware, sign stealing is and it's an unwritten rule in baseball. If you're just stealing what the catcher, easy signs on the field. But the Houston Astros took it to another level. Now they're definitely manipulating the game. It's not even a question. So what if you didn't know? It's they were using a camera feed from center field that was locked in on the catcher's signs he was giving to the pitcher. And they were signaling to the hitter by using that feed by banging on a trash can or a wall or something like that, and the hitter could eliminate a pitch or know what was coming when they bang on the wall or the trash can. So they won a World Series back in 2017, and there's a lot of video out there showing that they were doing that. So it's a problem.
Here's the deal. Me and Brett, we both come from baseball backgrounds. Brett more so. He played in the minor leagues pretty high. We go AAA, right?
Yep.
That's the highest you got.
Yep.
But, we come from baseball backgrounds, and sign stealing is part of the game, okay? Regular sign stealing, like on the field.
Yes.
Is it frowned upon? That's debatable. But if you can't hide your signs, or you can't hide your pitches, and you're tipping, that's your fault.
That's your fault.
And if it's within the rules or within the game on the field, I think that should be okay.
Yeah.
But when you start using electronics, you start having like a video feed in the hallway, like below the dugout where guys are going in. When you start getting interns and all these other people involved, not only are you putting their livelihoods at risk. I do recall in 2017 there was a intern or something or another from the Astros organization that got caught, pointing. He was videotaping with his phone and got caught, and he ended up getting fired. And well, guess what? That stays with him the rest of his life.
Right.
Okay. So there are other people affected on top of cheating and winning a World Series too. So now you're destroying lives willingly. No problem. Yeah. Let's put this kid at risk. No problem. If he gets fired, not my problem. So it starts at the top. I even read somewhere, and I don't know if this is true, but I read somewhere that in Houston they have a train tracks. They have a little.
Yes, when you hit a home run, they get in the train and they let it go.
Yeah, there's train tracks above left field, and it's just like kind of a celebratory thing, and there's a conductor inside. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard something. This could be a rumor, but I heard that he was part of it too, where he would do hand signals and something because he sits there in the train, and I think you can see him from home plate, and he would like put his arm up like in a certain direction for an off-speed pitch, and put his arm down for a fastball, and it. To go that far, I mean, that's New England Patriots shit. Like, that's going a long way to do what you have to do to win.
Yeah. But that's not within the rules of the game.
Of course not. And in baseball, what people really fail to understand, or maybe they do understand, is that goes a long way. Knowing what kind of pitch is coming, especially in the pros,
makes hitting a lot easier.
It's unbelievable. I mean, the hardest thing in hitting in any division or any league, whether it be pros, minors, college, high school, is knowing what's coming. That's the whole secret of the game. When you're in high school, guys only have so many pitches, and they're kind of young and developing.
Coaches can pick up on the pitcher.
It's easier. It's much easier to figure out what's going, unless you run into a good guy.
Right.
But in the pros, it's the best guys in the world. So if you have guys throwing 100 miles an hour, mixing in 75-mile-an-hour changeups, and
sliders,
88-mile-an-hour sliders, and cutters, and two-seamers, and all kinds of just other shit. Knowing what's coming, it gives you, your edge is unbelievable. It's exponentially bigger.
Right.
And baseball is usually a game of I like to say it's almost like a game of chance. It's you could hit lasers all game long, right to people, right to their gloves, get no hits at all.
Right.
But you could be stroking the ball and go nowhere.
Right.
So things have to happen for you.
Right.
And obviously the better players, your odds increase and all that kind of stuff. This is just my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So weighting it in your favor that way that is unbelievable cheating. I don't know how to compare that. That's almost
we've never seen.
That's almost like in football, like having the other coach's playbook.
Right.
Okay. Like basically knowing exactly what plays are being called and how they're lined up, and already knowing ahead of time where to go with the ball and where they're going with the ball or whatever. That you can't allow that. So that being said, I don't know what as far as punishment goes. Have you heard anything about what they're doing?
But one other thing, I also heard the bullpen coach would, similar to the conductor of the train, have an arm up for something, have an arm down. It's signaling, right? I also heard a random one, not sure if this is true or not. They had electronic buzzers in their back pocket so they could get buzzed in whenever they got the sign too. It was getting ridiculous.
So you're saying they had buzzers in their pants, like in the batter's box?
Like they had a little buzzer on there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true, but it's possible.
I did not hear that.
And the crazy part is the coach, AJ Hinch, was denying all this stuff, that they weren't doing it. If you watch, go if you had time, go YouTube some of these Astros videos. I mean, the Dodgers, I grew up a Dodger fan.
Boo.
They got crushed. So like people like you, Darvish, got absolutely annihilated after his World Series performance, and he was terrible. But now people are starting to think, well, maybe he wasn't as bad and as all of his fault.
Sure.
They had his pitches.
And
same with Kershaw.
That brings up another good point.
Whose legacy is tarnished.
That brings up another good point. Another good point to that is now pitchers are at stake. Okay, so just like a kicker in the NFL, if you miss field goal kicks, you're fired.
Right.
Okay. If you're a pitcher, now obviously Kershaw has a lot more leash, and Darvish might have some more leash too.
But, and they've gotten paid, so it's not going to hurt their legacy.
Right. So, but there are relievers and other people that this is their jobs, their livelihood. They have families they're supporting. This is their career, their life, their dream. Okay. Imagine being one of these relief guys coming in for one inning and getting lit up, and then the other coach thinking, he's just a bad pitcher. So now he gets sent down. He may never come back up again. Baseball is one of the hardest sports to be in, to maintain.
Right. That high level.
To be the highest level. So now these guys are losing their jobs. They're losing contract signings. They're losing money. I don't know anything personally if this destroyed lives or whatever. I don't know, but it could have. It's possible.
Yeah.
And the wild part is they may not even have any idea that signs are being stolen. So they might think it's them. They're like, why do I suck so much?
Right.
And now they're hard to get back out of that hole is what I'm saying. So, I mean, it's affecting so many people.
Yes.
And
think about how much more money the Astros got, players and organization, for winning the World Series.
They
went back again this year.
It's just some greedy ass shit, man. And
How great was it seeing the Nationals beat them this year?
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Especially that they were doing it. And they won and that's another thing. It's hard to perform this on the road, right? Because you don't have the same stuff in your dugout, all that stuff. But to have the Nationals beat the Astros 4 times in the World Series in Houston, never been done before.
Yes, and that's big. Although I will say this, playing on the road in baseball is not the same as playing on the road in basketball, playing on the road in football.
You're saying it's a more level playing field. But I'm saying for the way that they were stealing signs with the camera feed.
Oh, right.
A lot easier at home.
But comfortability-wise, sure, it's different for sure. But, to me personally, baseball is definitely, it doesn't matter what diamond you're at, it's all the same. When you're playing football, the crowd getting, you know what I mean? The crowd being riled up. I mean, your crowd's going to be riled up at your stadium.
Sure.
So if the crowd's riled up at a different stadium, what's the difference?
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no difference. But I feel like in football and basketball, like the crowd is like what do they call it? Like the 12th man or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and it's...
And plus, if you're a home baseball team, you could run into a great pitcher that's on the other team, and he'll be lights out. It doesn't matter.
You're a pitcher. You're a pitcher, and Jeff was a pitcher, my brother, and he basically said that he zones that out. Okay? He zones it out. My brother, just so you guys don't know, my brother also played AA baseball as well, and he's had a huge background. And I used to ask him all the time. I said, when you're pitching out there, do you even notice the crowd? And he said, I don't see him. Any good pitcher will tell you that they just don't see him.
Yeah.
And was that the same with you?
Yeah, sometimes, when you're in the zone, it doesn't matter what field you're on or how many fans are there. If you got good stuff that day, good pitching will always beat good hitting.
Right, all the time. It's so much easier to pitch than, I don't want to say it like that, but it's just so much easier to get guys out than it is to get hits.
I mean, I'm sure some of you have heard this before, but if you get three hits out of every 10 at bats, you're a star.
You're an all-star,
right?
That's 30%, by the way, who's not counting home.
So you're right. We're talking about a 70% plus 80% failure rate.
That's good. Normal. That's an all-star rate. Okay, and the league average is 24%, probably, or 25%.
Right.
And that's considered good nowadays because guys are swinging for the fences only.
Right, the whole new age, yes.
Yeah, you only have what, maybe 10 guys in the whole league batting over 300 now?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe?
Yeah.
That's probably a stretch.
Right.
But, so that being said, it was great to see the Nationals win. I was cheering from the whole way.
Yeah.
And obviously they couldn't have done that with Harper. No disrespect to Harper because I actually like watching Harper play. I know a lot of people don't like him, and I can understand that.
He's polarizing.
But he's supposed to be. He's an entertainer. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget these guys are here to entertain.
Sure, they are, but it is pretty amazing that they lose their quote-unquote best player, and now they win the World Series.
It's not amazing, Brett. You know why? And you know this, so don't play dumb with me.
Well, they had pitching.
Well, how do you get that pitching? You don't sign a player to $30 million a year.
Sure, but they offered him $300 million. He didn't take it.
I understand, but it was a blessing in disguise, as they say.
The Phillies went to 330, and he took it.
Yeah, it's a blessing in disguise for them, and it's a lesson to all these other teams. And this could be going for other sports too, but baseball especially because one hitter will never win you a championship.
Correct.
Okay. If anything, you would get one hitter to bring other hitters. I call it it's recruiting. Okay, it's you sign a guy here and you sign another guy here because you maybe want to attract some other players. Like, oh, that guy plays there. I want to play with him. Almost like in basketball, like that guy, to kind of create a super team or whatever. Yeah. So in recruitment sense, I would get a guy like Bryce Harper, but he's not really well liked in the league. So it's another thing too. So while I do feel like he's overpaid, let's not forget market value and how much money
jersey sales,
how much money people. Yeah, he probably, from what I read, he sold more in jerseys than their contract. So they made all their money back that they paid him this year, the $30 million or whatever he makes this year.
Yeah,
they made that and more just in jersey sales.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they're covered.
As long as he's still the dude.
Well, that'll run out. That'll run out.
13-year contract.
That'll run out for sure. That obviously they're not going to be spending $30 million in jerseys every year, but hopefully they're trying to get more on the back end as far as recruitment and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, you can't draft one. I mean, a pitcher, I'd be more inclined to believe, but remember, he's only pitching one, maybe twice a week. Okay,
once every 5 days if they're a starter.
Maybe twice a week if he goes 5 innings or whatever. So there's no way. How many starts a year? How many starts a pitcher get a year?
If they don't get hurt?
Yep.
30, 35 at the most.
In theory, even if he won every game.
If they went 30-0.
If he went 30-0, which is not happening, by the way. If he went 30-0, it still doesn't move the needle. You still have 152 games?
152 games. 162 games. So he had 130.
Oh yeah, what did I say? 182. Yeah. My bad.
There's
Correction.
132 games still.
So
that they have to win.
And so it doesn't move the needle much. So that's the whole deal with Bryce Harper. And I think the fact that they didn't sign him freed up spots and freed up money for them to bring other pitching. Bullpen, by the way, bullpen pitching
it's a premium now.
It's underrated. They weren't the greatest bullpen pitching team. I got to be honest with you. They were just good enough. They weren't anything spectacular. But they got a lot of good hitters and role players. I mean, Rendon won't be back, I don't think.
Yeah.
Soto, by the way, that was great by them.
He's a little annoying to watch, and his antics are...
Trey Turner is very good.
Yeah, Adam Eaton, I used to play with him in the minor leagues.
Kurt Suzuki, by the way, was another good one who was a great role player.
Yeah.
Great catcher, too.
Yeah,
great defensive catcher. Very hard to find, by the way.
Zimmerman's been there forever. It's a good to see
the
him
leadership
win.
role. Yeah. So they got pieces. You know what I mean? You look at Philadelphia, where Bryce Harper is now, and they got a lot of talent.
They do.
But they just can't. It's a lot of selfish talent.
Maybe.
I don't know
young guys. Yeah.
I don't really know how to describe it, but I think the way the Nationals did it is how you do it. Like how you do it from a team that's not built like the Astros.
No.
The Astros are built like a machine.
Right.
Okay.
They tanked and drafted very well.
Exactly. So they had a great farm system for a long time, and it recruits people. Look, who Verlander goes over there.
Oh yeah.
Garrett Cole goes over there. Did he sign there or did he get traded?
He got traded from the Pirates. Stupid move by them. I have a great example for you. The huge money players that signed this offseason, right? Trout, Machado, and Harper. Mm-hmm. All three of those teams didn't make the playoffs. All three of those teams fired their coach.
Shocker.
It doesn't pay to pay long term.
Long term, it doesn't. Isn't
that crazy? The three most talented players in the league, arguably, none of them made the playoffs.
It's because they can't. The way they've set everything up, they can't support them. Now, you could make the argument. I know you can make the argument right now that paying a guy $50 million a year would definitely hamper your abilities, unless you're the Yankees or somebody like that. I get that part, but you got to pick your poison here, and you got to be smart. You got to understand that in any sport, the older you get, the more you decline. This isn't bowling,
right?
It's not billiards,
golf.
No, you don't get better with age in golf. That's for sure.
The Red Sox won the World Series in 2018, right?
Yeah.
They already fired their GM because he spent too much money. It really depends on the organization, too.
But there's always a fall guy.
Yeah.
There's always a fall guy.
And they had a down year, but they won the World Series last year.
Well, that's how the Red Sox and Yankees operate.
The media is on your ass over there.
Yeah, and the poor managers and general managers, too. But managers, you got to remember, baseball's all analytic now, right?
Yeah.
Managers are babysitters. Someone asked me the other day, they're like, so why do what's so big about managers? Like, they don't really get too much press in baseball, and they don't get paid as much. Baseball managers get paid the least amount of money in any sport for any, like a coach or a head coach or anything like that.
There are college football coaches making a lot more than MLB managers.
Not even close, by the way. But there's a reason for that. And the reason is they're just glorified babysitters. They have a whole team of nerds, we'll call them.
Yes.
That make all the decisions, that make all the lineups, that do all the defensive shifts, that do all that stuff. That, for all you guys that don't know, those are the decisions being made. That has nothing to do with the manager.
It's from the front office.
He tells them, he relays the information, all the analytics give to them, to the players.
Right.
Okay? That's how baseball works right now. Billy Beane, thanks a lot for that. But
and how many World Series Billy Beane won?
0.
0.
So that's great. He's got a movie, though.
Yeah. Good movie.
Now, I don't know if you guys have heard, speaking of the same thing, analytics, that woman who got hired as the hitting coach in the minor league system for the New York Yankees. I have two issues with this.
Was it the Jessica Mendoza, the Mets chick?
It wasn't Jessica Mendoza.
Okay.
No, this girl has no...
Oh.
She's never played, never picked up a ball in her life.
Got it.
Whether it be a softball or a baseball, never picked it up. First issue. That's my first issue. For sure. Okay? I'm all about including women. Okay, let's not get that twisted. All right, I'm all about it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? But man or woman, if you have no experience in the job, I don't want you.
Right.
I don't get it. Well, her job, she's really good at analytics. She's good at graphing and coming up with all these scientific, equations and things of that nature to get all these analytics together. So she's going to be a hitting coach, which, by the way, a hitting coach is supposed to be directing you how to hit. Like physically with a bat in their hands.
Yeah.
Or at least it used to be. And she will not be anywhere near the field.
Right.
So she'll have a computer with her at all times. They could have just hired a computer. Could have just set up a computer and be like, you're our hitting coach. That's what she does.
Well, that's the problem with analytics. You're dealing with humans. You're not dealing with robots.
Right. And I would be just as upset if this was a man in the same position. So it has nothing to do with her being a woman.
Yeah.
The part that I really don't like is she's not a baseball player.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense to me. I just don't get that part.
Yeah.
Is it because, feminist movement? Is that
maybe trying to be inclusive?
Is that why they did it? Is it because she's really going to improve the team? I'm anxious to see what happens. Now, of course, it's in the minor league system, so we probably won't hear anything for a little while.
Right.
You don't really hear much about the minor leagues. But, if I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened in the pros in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And or a man. It could be a man. Yeah. Same situation where it's zero experience. I mean, you look at a lot of these GMs or assistant GMs.
You have the guys from Harvard, MIT. They're just
never played a sport in their life.
Right.
Never played a sport in their life. And I'm sure I'm sounding very bitter about this right now, but I am. And I just don't understand. I mean, I understand, but I don't know if it works.
I don't know if it works either.
Sometimes you'll be watching a game and a defensive shift will be on and it'll go right to them. And you'll be like, oh, wow, they really knew what they were doing. Ever heard of coincidence or luck?
You also remember, and I'll give you the insight on this. As a pitcher, you have to pitch into the shift.
Of course.
So that's also, you have to execute pitches still. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, we moved over, he's going to hit it right to us for sure. No, you got to pitch into the shift.
If you shift over to the right, you're not going to pitch in the opposite direction because he's going to go on the opposite direction.
So the humans still have to play the game.
Of course. And there's all that luck and coincidence and all those things that happen and how you hit the ball and off what part of the bat and what the weather is that day and all that other crap.
Like you were talking about earlier, you could hit 3 line drives and they all get caught. Or you could hit 3 little duck farts and they all land and you get on base that day.
Here's another thing that I don't understand. If the defenses are putting on a shift, how come the hitters aren't learning how to hit to the other side of the shift? What happened to baseball?
I don't know.
What happened to the 5-5 hole?
They're almost accepting it. That they're over there.
I'm just going to pull it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to pull it.
I'm just keep pulling.
I make $20 million a year to hit it the once. I go play over the line. Are you kidding me? What is this? You make so much money.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah,
what do you do during practice?
Yeah.
You should be literally going oppo or against the shift. You should be practicing that.
Yeah.
Battle the analytics.
Right.
That just drives me nuts.
That's the issue. Now that it's all analytic driven, you don't see a lot of bunt. You don't see a lot of hit and run. That's what frustrates
social ball?
me. Oh,
like social ball?
Small ball. It's a lot of the colleges in the South, if you ever knew about college baseball or watched the College World Series, they're all big bats, right? They all hit a lot of homers. They play in smaller fields. The West Coast used to be about small ball. Bunts, hit and run, moving guys over, manufacturing runs, and playing the game, the little things. Mm. That's all gone now.
Do they teach that anymore? Like in high school?
I don't know, because you don't see it a lot. Like that would be my biggest frustrating thing is when I'm watching the World Series and you get a leadoff guy on, every run counts in the World Series, and you don't bunt him over. Why not? Get him in scoring position.
Even
instead
if
of just
cleanup hitter,
strikeout, and then we're done. It's baseball has definitely become more frustrating now to watch.
And I get why the home runs are big. And remember the balls have been juiced for all you guys that don't know.
If you don't believe that, go look at the numbers for home runs hit this year total.
Yeah, the balls have been juiced. So it's they accepted the players being juiced, and once they got caught, they're like, well, let's juice something else. So now they're juicing the baseballs. So these balls are just getting launched. And so the name of the game is home runs. So swing, it's all or nothing, right? Yeah. You got a lot of guys in the league who are hitting 200 with 30 home runs.
Right.
And, we don't need Adam Dunn all over the place, okay? One Adam Dunn is great. Yeah. You know what I mean? A guy who can hit a long way. Like, what's that guy on the Rangers?
Gallo?
Joey Gallo.
Yeah.
Joey Gallo, yeah. Joey Gallo is probably our most recent Adam Dunn. That's all we need. I don't need any more.
Right.
So, where is the hitting? Where is the teaching happening? And is someone like this woman or a man who eventually will get hired in the same position going to teach these guys? She's a hitting coach, remember, not a defensive coach. Right. She's not doing the defensive shifts. Is she going to be teaching these guys to hit against the defensive shifts?
Right.
Or
now they're teaching launch angle, right? Exit velocity.
Oh, yeah.
All the stuff that
sports science,
doesn't mean
get the
anything.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah. It doesn't mean anything.
To
me,
shit.
It doesn't mean anything.
It's all trends. Yeah. It's all to sell and market
right.
to get a new fan base. And,
right.
Well, guess what? That fan base don't give a shit, and they don't care.
Right.
And it just kind of frustrates me. I guess let's just go back to the roots. Where are all the pure hitters, the guys that go up there where they're so dangerous that you can't shift on them. And there's a few where guys they don't shift because they could go anywhere.
Sure.
But there used to be a ton. There used to be a ton of guys who batted over 300, for instance. Yeah. Now there's literally what we talked about earlier, 10 or less.
The technical side of hitting is just, it's lacking now. It's all uppercut, swing, aim for the fences, and strike. And striking out is now okay.
It's okay. It's okay. It used to be frowned upon. Now it's totally okay. I mean, guys would lose their jobs and get cut and sent down when they would strike out too much. Now it's like, oh, he'll figure it out.
What happened to putting the ball in play, putting pressure on the defense?
What good does a strikeout do?
Right.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah. So at least putting the ball in play, you can move guys over. You can possibly get an error, like something could happen. You know what I mean? Everyone's got to play defense, make a
bad
throw.
Hop. Yeah.
So
you never know.
You know what really grinds my gears? You.
All right, guys. Before we get into this next segment, we're gonna kind of explain to you what we're talking about here. So grinding our gears is pretty much, if you don't know, anything that's just pissing us off. And today's topic is going to be, basically refereeing in sports and reviews and challenges and all those kinds of things and what they can get right and what they can't get right. And I know, the James Harden thing this week was kind of a pain in the ass for everybody, but, basically James Harden, if for all you didn't see it, he made a dunk. The ball happened to go through the net and out the other side, something of that nature. Yeah. Basically. And they didn't count the basket at the time, and they didn't challenge it as well, which, by the way, basketball has challenges now, and they didn't count the bucket. Well, they ended up losing by 2 points, right?
Yeah.
2 points. So, it was a big bucket. Now, the problem with it is they challenged it, or they didn't challenge it, and, that I guess it was the big deal of the whole thing, and they protested the game. Now, the referees, or I'm sorry, the NBA basically came out and said, we were wrong. It was a bucket. Should have counted. But your protest is denied.
Right.
So that confuses me. I don't know about you, but that really, really confuses me. How does that work?
What's unclear is what is reviewable and what's not reviewable. And the fact that they can't buzz in and let the referee know in New York, wherever the review studios are, the replay studios, to say, buzz the referee and just say, hey, that counts. You need to go count that. Why can't they just do that?
I don't understand.
Why? And even looking at it, it went through.
I mean, they could have, anybody could, even the replay official, any official, anybody sitting at the computer seeing the replay could have been like, yo, that went in.
The official, that's the fourth official. I think they always have four just in case in the NBA one of them gets hurt or goes down or something like that. They have a fourth guy.
Yeah.
Why can't that guy be in front of the monitor going, hey, yeah, that went through? Right there.
Right then and there.
Yeah.
Or even later. I mean, here's a good example.
Right. Or after they
If a guy shoots a three-pointer and they call it a three-pointer.
Right. They review
and they give it a 3. And the game goes on. The game doesn't stop. No stoppage in play, okay? This is basketball. They can later review that, like outside during a timeout, and they can change it to a 2 if he was, say, stepping on the line.
Right.
Okay? Why wouldn't they go back and give James Harden the bucket? Listen, I'm not a big James Harden fan.
Neither am I.
I know he's a great ball player, obviously, or whatever, but
it's tough to watch.
It was a bucket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was a huge bucket.
It was.
And the fact that they acknowledged that they were wrong, but at the same time said we can't change anything, blows my mind.
Yeah.
That's not, they do that in football too.
Right.
Baseball as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't get the whole challenge system. Why even have a challenge system? Why can't there just be someone from either New York or up in the booth or on the sideline or whatever that basically just says, hey, change the call.
Right. Someone on site looking at the monitor.
Change the call.
Clear and obvious, as they say, right? If it's clear and obvious, it should be changed immediately.
Yeah.
Why do they, that shouldn't even be a question. I think they don't want to slow the games down too much. That's the issue with replay.
But they don't have to.
Right.
They can do it while there's, how many TV timeouts are during every goddamn game?
You can review that.
Review it.
Yeah.
Just be like, okay, well, they reviewed the bucket and it went through and it's a basket, period,
now,
done.
That game went into overtime, but I think when it happened, the Rockets were up by 13 with 7 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So I think it wasn't like it's a playoff game. It's a regular season game, but they do matter when you talk about seeding down the line.
Yeah, why does it matter if it's a playoff game or not?
Right, I know. This whole thing is wrong.
It shouldn't matter. I mean, and then you get calls in football, for instance, where they'll come out the next day and they'll say the head officiating crew of the NFL will come out and say, yeah, they made a mistake.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen.
No.
Okay, there should be no mistakes.
Right.
There should be an earphone, or I'm sorry, like an earbud or something in the ear of the officiating crew while they're on the field from somebody, whether it's in New York or up in the booth or whatever, who should be telling them, don't waste anybody's time. This is what the call is. We can see it. All the announcers, Chris Collinsworth, Al Michaels, were talking about it.
Yeah.
Everyone sees it.
Right.
I know he's not working for the NFL anymore, but you got a referee that sits in
like
with them.
An analyst.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like the old referees that are retired.
Yeah.
They'll come in. I know they're not contracted by the NFL anymore, so they can't really make any calls. But,
right.
I mean, they're saying the same thing. This is someone who's highly respected in his field, obviously, and he sees what's going on. He's not making the wrong call. He's seeing replays. That's how you make the right call. How come they don't just buzz him down?
That's what bothers me the most is when I hate when they say, like, it appears as though they might have stepped out of bounds, or it seems like, but it's a judgment call. No, it's not a judgment call. Either he did step out or he did not. I hate that. If it's clear as day in the booth, you should be able to buzz into the referee and say, hey, look, no, you missed it. Let's correct it.
Absolutely. And how many times, I mean, like switch over to baseball, how many times when they're reviewing a play, they'll gather around with their headsets on. In baseball, by the way, the umpires don't look at video screens.
Right. They're just waiting for the call.
Right. Why waste, if you're talking about speeding the game up,
yes,
especially baseball, by the way, why is someone not just, boom, it's done. Tell them what it is. How many times do you need to look at it?
Right.
And sure, one call every once in a while might need some extra looking at and all that kind of stuff to really narrow it down. But most calls, 99% of the calls can be made in literally less than 10 seconds.
Yes.
And you can hear it in the announcers. They always say, well, what's taking so long down there? This should be all done with. Yeah. I don't understand what they're doing. No. I don't get it.
Right.
So that just bugs the shit out of me. It just bugs the shit out of me.
That's what grinds our gears this week.
It just pisses me off. I don't understand it. The other thing you got to think about too is is it a vendetta? Is it something against James Harden?
Oh.
Is it something against a specific player? Just what the Patriots game a couple days ago or yesterday.
Yeah.
They were kind of screwed on a couple calls actually.
But they're normally the beneficiary.
Right. Calls, so what is that? Does that play a role?
You hope the refs don't have biases.
Is the referee playing against James Harden in his fantasy league? Like I don't know. Is the fix in? Has he got a bet going? Is he Donaghy out there?
Did happen back in the day.
I'm not sure. It just makes you wonder. What the hell else is going on? Right. But, we obviously want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. We don't want to think that way.
Right.
We don't.
No, you don't. You want sports to be pure because if you knew it was tainted, you wouldn't watch.
No, exactly. Yeah. But at the same time, Donaghy proved to us that, it could be tainted. But we don't want to think like that going into it. But the more you do stuff like this, the more you're just like, why
aren't you changing it?
Yeah, why wouldn't you just change the call? I mean, you admitted to it after the game.
Yeah.
And why wasn't it done on the field? Because it was too late. I think I read that Adam Silver's response to the whole thing of denying their protest was that they didn't challenge.
Right.
And they only have 30 seconds to challenge in basketball.
And they waited too long to challenge, even though D'Antoni was on the court screaming at the ref, "Hello, why do we need to challenge this?"
He shouldn't have to challenge it.
It should be an automatic review.
I don't understand.
For a basket, no basket, it's just like goaltending.
Yeah.
You can review that if the ball hits the glass first and then the guy blocks it. It's goaltend. So if you can review goaltending, why can't you review a dunk, a very rare situation like that?
And in the replay, it's clear as day that it went in.
Clear as day.
There was no issues with that.
No, change it on the spot.
And why can't they, okay, another thing.
Yeah.
When they say something's not reviewable, okay, like in football, they couldn't review this or they couldn't, it's not reviewable.
Right.
Everything should be reviewable, okay? There should be no more judgment calls. Now, it's debatable. I'm sure that's debatable, but the only thing I feel like you can't really look at or do anything about is pitches in baseball, okay? People want to say, you have the pitch tracker, and they see the strikes or whatever, and they want to be able to use that instead of an umpire. Well, it's not. I don't think that's as 100% accurate as far as, I don't think either of them are accurate. Umpires are definitely inaccurate.
Oh, no. They miss a lot of calls.
They're fat, blind, and stupid, as someone told me growing up. So they miss a lot of calls, and, you don't know if the stat tracker's right or if it's right over the plate or anything like that. But they always, and in sports, they have things that are just not reviewable, and I just don't understand that language at all.
Because if you open Pandora's box of reviewing everything, then the games are going to take forever. That's probably what they're thinking.
I understand that, but they need to come up. I'm sure they've tried, but they need to come up with some system where they can do it quickly. Which, I mean, we can do it from our couch
easily.
In 5
Within
seconds.
2 or 3 replays, you should have it.
5 seconds, and we have no officiating experience.
No.
And this is not just armchair people talking. We see what we see.
Yeah.
We're not blind.
Right.
So I don't understand why that doesn't translate over to their end. And I get it's competitive and they wanted to get it right and all this bullshit. But what I'm talking about is things that are not reviewable.
Yeah. Well,
there's a lot of things that aren't reviewable that are important. And these guys play for big championships, and they paid a lot of money,
right.
and the clubs are worth a lot of money. They make a lot of money. It's a big business. So I can understand college ball and high school ball and all that stuff where you just can't get to the review, you don't have the technology, you don't have this, but you have all these things at your disposal.
Yeah,
use them.
You're right.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. Let's play a game.
Let's play a fun game that helps us learn each other's names.
We already know each other's names.
Silence!
Well, guys, that'll do it for episode number 1. Thank you for listening. Definitely check us out, comment, and respond and email. You can email us at the Below Stevo Show. No and in between those. But the other ones on YouTube and Instagram, the Below and Stevo Show. Definitely hit us up there. We want to hear you. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.
I love Fat Girl's Ed.
Today's show brought to you by no one.
Oh, yeah. We can throw that in there.